What's going on, guys? Swift here again with another podcast episode with Cake. Um,
Hello?
yes. So yeah, today we've seen that you guys have been enjoying these longer we're like podcast type videos where we just kind of talk about. I guess it's been more recently more like our month in review, but maybe we can start to do it a little more frequently. So I'm not sure. We don't have as much to talk about today, but we do have a few things. I guess I wanted to start out with what our purchases have been for the last couple weeks or however long it's been since our last video. So, did you want to start, Cake? I know you have probably a little bit more than me, meaningfully wise.
Uh, 20 xiphoids? They're not all mine.
Yeah, we did a group order. We're each getting five. But still, it was on Everwish for like what, $1.50 each?
Yeah. So even after the monstrous shipping, we're still getting them for dirt cheap.
Yeah, like it was $25 for five full xiphoids, so the black one from the random booster. And it is actually pretty good for Cake since he doesn't have a xiphoid right now.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, then did you also just want to didn't you get some other burst stuff?
I'm I forget. Did our last
I don't think we talked about the stuff that you got.
okay. So if we did already cover that, then oops. But I got a full set of Random Booster Volume 27, the Zest Achilles customized set, and of course the most important, the Hello Kitty. Oh, and Wind Kirby's. It just the new top
Went
tier thing.
Kirbyus, and
But
then he also got the what's the thing with the quick dash?
oh
The
yeah,
Lord Achilles
yeah, the
quick
Lord
dash.
Achilles. Yeah.
So yeah, have you gotten any metal fight stuff or anything?
Um.
Oh, besides, I guess did you want to tell him what you bought from me?
Oh yeah. I ended up buying. Let's see. There was that Medio El Drago, the purple one with the LRF. I bought that. I bought. Let's see. The beautiful purple Metal Face 2 from the El Drago set.
Yep.
What else was there? Some, just some 85s and another TR 145.
Yeah.
Swift's been getting a whole bunch of cool lots as of late. I'm sure you guys have seen those videos. So I've been buying a bit off of him because he's got some good stuff.
Yeah.
Plug for
So
Swift's store. Yeah.
so it's kind of funny that Cake has actually been buying more burst stuff. Um and then probably some BBG sets in the near
Yeah.
future. Probably. I'm not
Yeah.
going to
Looking.
mention. We'll not talk about that too much, just in case it falls through. I don't think it will, but just to be
Mhm.
safe. Um,
Yeah.
I guess for me, I have purchased quite a few lots, as you guys have seen. As far as meaningful purchases for stuff that I buy to keep for myself. Obviously, I do keep some of the stuff I get in lots, and then I give first dibs to like Cake and stuff. Um, but I bought Wind Kirbyus and then Wind Knight. I bought the 5 xiphoids with Cake. Um, I'm trying to think. I think I'm talking with Bays and Bricks right now about possibly getting the carabiner grip and launcher thing that you have, Cake, because I really like
Yeah.
that. I can hold it exactly how I hold my MFB launcher. So I'm in the talks with that. Um oh, I bought another BB10 for personal like testing because I sold one the Cake and
Hmm.
then yeah, all that stuff. So basically just and then we have our orders for the Shintie Stadium, which
Yes.
if
Very
you
excited
guys
for that.
don't know, yeah, if you guys don't know about that, we talked about it in our last episode, and then I also put a link to the spreadsheet for pre-ordering in the description, and then it's also I posted in my community tab a couple of times. So yeah, but overall, I think that's been about it as far as purchases go. Um, so nothing too crazy. I've have a few lots on the way, so you guys will probably see unboxing videos of that. But as far as brand new stuff, not a ton of things. I'm trying to think if I did buy some more extreme dashes for myself.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I want to stock up on those. Um, so yeah, so moving on really quick, since I know that Cake doesn't have a ton of experience with this, I wanted to give a quick talk about the EMCO BB10 repro replica, whatever you want to call it. Um, and I know that Abelia from the WBO has been making quite a few videos on it. She sadly had to give all the normal clear BB10s back to Kay after their last limited event, but her and Dan did a split order and they each got quite a few. So she's been testing it pretty regularly. And I was talking to her about how it is very similar to the black BB10. And I know a lot of people might not know there's a difference in BB10, but the ridges are a little bit different. The black and the EMCO one have a slightly less defined shorter ridge. And then the secondary slope of the EMCO and the black BB10 is also less defined than the clear one. So I know you've played in it a couple times, right, Cake?
Yeah, just a little bit.
So it's like fine. Like if we had
Yeah.
a replica of that, but it was durable, I think it would be amazing.
Yeah, like it is my only complaint with it is just that it's kind of notorious for being brittle, but
Yeah, like not quite TA level, but almost. Um, but yeah, so I just wanted to talk about that. If you guys can find those, I think they are a good buy. They just know they are a little bit different. So if you practice in the EMCO BB10 and then go to an event and play in a clear BB10, things might be different. Again, Abelia from the WBO has been doing a lot of testing videos in it for like attack types and defense types. So go check those videos out because you'll see kind of the differences between that and the clear. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about on the EMCO since I know more people are getting those. Um, and then let's talk about the tournament we were just at, Cake.
yes.
So this was technically it's not Cake's first tournament, but it's his first solo tournament. And technically I consider it his first one because it's the first one where he was using all of his own stuff with his own knowledge and not one where I just handed him a deck and said, this is what these Beyblades do. Uh, so yeah, this was Poor Man's Chance hosted by Mr. Power. He actually had like a club format Poor Man's Chance last year where there's like cash prizes. So that's kind of like the whole like Poor Man's Chance, like come out, you can win money, that kind of thing. So he hosted in South Bend. We had a pretty decent turnout for South Bend, better than last time. What I think we had 16 people.
Yeah, we had 16. It was pretty
Yeah.
solid.
So I know there was a couple cancellations from a couple people, but otherwise it was pretty solid. We were able to play group round robin, which is probably my favorite, honestly.
Yeah, max size group round robin too.
Yeah, exactly. So you get to play a lot of matches. It's just a whole bunch of fun. Get to play a lot of Beyblade. So yeah, this was technically Cake's first event where he was playing solo, and he got a lot of matches, and it was pick three, choose one. So did you want to talk about that, Cake? What were your thoughts on pick three, choose one opposed to 3v3?
Yeah, I've said this many times. I'm much more of a fan of pick three, choose one over 3v3. Yeah, I just like the deck building so much more in it and feeling like I'm making actual decisions. I don't know that it would have made a huge difference because we had a lot of kids at this event, and with some notable exceptions, a lot of them were not very well set up for playing competitively. But I think a lot of them will be back with significantly improved decks next time.
Yeah. I gave a lot of the parents there just different sites of where they can buy real Beyblades. Because one kid had a whole bunch of fake Beyblades, and bless JA Industry Soul, he had all the real stuff, so he was able to provide that kid's whole deck, but with real Beyblades. And then his mom talked to me, and I gave her all the sites that I ordered my burst stuff through. And then another parent came over, and then I also told them. So worked out.
Yeah, I think it was a very good teaching time for a lot of these kids and their parents.
Yep.
We had a lot of good interactions with both the kids and their parents. It was a great event from that perspective.
Yeah, the parents were very respectful and that didn't ever get mad at us when we didn't let their kid use a fake Beyblade. They really it really just seemed like they were willing to learn and help their kid out, you know?
Yeah, like they had a genuine interest in their kids' interest, and that's
Yeah.
that's always beautiful to
Yeah,
see.
and then we also I talked to one of the dads there, and he was telling me he might get into playing too because I told him, you know, a lot of the dads play, and a lot of the time their kids will quit playing, but the dads will keep playing. So
Yep.
he said, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to start playing because he's been playing video games for a while. So this would just be kind of similar." And then we did have a dad who played, which we can get into more of that too because his son was kind of a beast. But
Yeah.
so so yeah, as we Cake said, it was pick three, choose one. I do prefer that, I think. One thing that I did like about so with 3v3 and burst, I like being able to use every burst bay that I have because I do feel like guilty can beat like 90% of the meta. Then you have different opposite spin LAD matches. So I feel like you're never really screwed over matchup wise, as in like MFB with 3v3, you're just like you can get completely screwed over. Um but yeah, I still preferred pick three, choose one. I thought it was really fun. There were a lot of kids there with a lot of Hasbro stuff, but they definitely were interested in getting like the
Yeah.
real deal stuff. So
And they were all definitely having a good time. Like,
oh yeah, that was the best part. Like, yeah, sure, some of the kids were sad, that they were like 0-6 or whatnot, but a lot of them said like, I don't even care if I win. Like, this is the most fun ever. Like, just getting to play so many people, and
yeah.
I that was just so cool to see that those kids' smiles,
Yep.
But yeah. So there was one kid in particular that kind of put on a crazy showing, and that was a Noodle Boy.
Yes.
And
Yeah. So I have a particular experience with Noodle Boy because we were in the same group in Group Round Robin, and so in our group there were two players with the 6-1 record, and that was, or sorry, three.
Yep.
Yeah, because it was Mr.
You-
Power,
Yep.
myself, and Noodle Kid.
Noodle Boy.
Or Noodle Boy. My bad. I'm sorry. Yeah. So the three of us each only lost to each other. So we were stuck in, and this is, I think, the third time this has happened in one of our Midwest events where we ended up with a 3-way tie. And my one loss was to Noodle Boy. So we play a tiebreaker to, break our 3-way tie so that way we can put two of us into finals. And in the tiebreaker, I lose yet again 1-3 to Noodle Boy. And then barely managed to squeeze my way through into finals by beating Mr. Power by enough of a margin to collect enough points to beat him out in the tiebreaker.
Which I'd also like to point out that Noodle Boy beat Mr. Power. I'm pretty sure 3-1 in the tiebreaker.
Yeah. So Noodle Boy was cleaning up. Yeah, and then in finals, and for reference, so Noodle Boy had been creaming me all tournament with this roar combo. I don't remember exactly what he had it set up with anyway,
I
but
think it was like something on Moment.
it was Moment because he walled my guilty with it.
Yeah, it was wall and attack.
Yeah, it was doing its job. So I was scared of this combo. And so then for finals, it's deck format. And then I retool my Vanish combo to give it as much same spin stamina as I possibly can to deal with his Roar and Vanish that are in his deck. And then I finally managed to get the run back and beat him. I wasn't expecting to beat him as hard as I did because his deck really couldn't get through like that vanish combo pretty much soloed his entire deck, and I wasn't expecting that to happen. But I did manage to counterpick him and finally managed to pick up a win on him and take third. But he put out an incredible showing for a first event. Like,
Yeah, his dad was super proud. His dad was super cool. Um, and I thought it was cool because his dad did give him some help, but for the most part, I think his dad kind of let him choose what combos he wanted to use.
yeah,
So I don't think it was really his dad. Just which shout out to Zeno, but
yeah,
it was his dad would basically be like, "What do you want? Like, what do you want to use? Yada yada yada," and then Noodle Boy would make the combo. So that was always super cool. His dad watched like all of his matches, like cheering him on, and yeah, it was really awesome. And then I actually got to play Noodle Boy for the first time in semifinals, and this is kind of I felt kind of bad. So I used um Wind Dragon, illegal bearing dash with a 3 armor, and I 5-0'd him. Um which was kind of weird. I didn't know all the matchups for Wind. I had done some testing, um, like why Cake and I were on a Discord call where we where
yeah.
we had just got Wind in, so we were testing that out. But I was not expecting to beat him as much as I did. So he had
Your
a
wind was like way overperforming during that tournament. Like
yeah, like
you were
I
beating
was
everything.
winning by significant margins, and then there was a match I was in. I can't who was it against? I can't remember who it was, but I KO'd the kid 3 times. Oh, I think he was using I'm trying to remember what he was using. I can't remember. It was a same spin stamina, and I was actually kind of scared of it because I think it was on high extend plus. But I KO'd him 3 times in a row with Wind. And that was kind of weird. But yeah, getting back to my match with Noodle Boy, he was using, I believe it was Dynamite plus F, Perseus over high extend plus dash, and I
Yeah,
I thought I was gonna get mopped with that combo. But I somehow outspun it, which I could tell, since Noodle Boy is a little more new, I don't think he realized that that was actually probably one of his best matchups for me. So
yeah.
then he switched to his I think it was his roar on moment, and I was able to outspin that pretty convincingly. So he then switched to Vanish, tapered bearing dash, Vanish Achilles, tapered bearing dash,
And this was
and
the one that surprised me.
yeah. So I was worried about the Vanish on bearing dash. I do think that if he was on like illegal or tape or over, he probably would have tied or beat me. Um, But I knew he was using tapered, so I was a little like weary. I didn't know who was gonna win. In my testing, Vanish won a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, that was
But
how it was for me too.
yeah. So the first round, my Wind outspun like significantly. Just
Yeah,
completely crushed it. Which like it doesn't matter how hard we launch, like it's opposite spin. Which was really surprising. His dad even looked at my bearing dash. He was like, "What the heck?" But the second one we ended up tying, and we played again, and I won again. So then I was up 4-0, and then in the final one he switched to high mode, which I was barely able to outspin. And unfortunately for him, I won 5-0, which I think everybody was a little just more surprised by Wind. Um,
yeah.
because Wind
Because
looked super strong there.
I was expecting it to get stopped by Vanish. Because when we were testing it, it seemed to do a little less well against opposite spin. And so, like,
Yeah,
Roar was on moment. That's not a super high LID driver. Like, you can kind of expect it to not win there. But then
yeah,
Vanish on Bearing, uh,
yep,
that was a surprise.
yeah. And again, I feel like with Wind being out, it's gonna make Taper just unusable. That's kind of because people are still like in the last tournament I used Tapered with my bearing
Uh huh.
because it worked. But now with Wind being so monstrous in same spin and then being pretty good in opposite spin, you kind of need as much opposite spin against it as you can. So tapered is like a hindrance. Um, But yeah, so that was pretty cool. And then Cake, you actually played against JA Industries, and that was actually a really fun match. Did you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, we
For
had a
your
lot of guilty versus guilty in
yeah,
that
your
one.
for Cake's semifinals match, she was up against JA Industries.
Yeah. And you know, in classic Cake versus JA fashion, we ended up like wasting half of our rounds of gameplay just launching out or botching our attack launches. Uh, but yeah, like you know, it was a lot of again guilty versus guilty. Um, I let's see. I think I used prominence in there also to help shut down guilty once.
Yeah, he
Shoot,
was that prominence combo you used, which for the viewers, it's prominence, then
Prominence, Perseus, Nexus plus S and free spin, Mobius and Zero.
Yep. So it's a heavy combo. It's really good for like opposite spin, and
And then the
then
armor's gonna eat one hit from guilty,
yep.
and
So
it's really heavy. So
yep. So I was actually kind of worried for you because you were up 2-0, then Jay came back and made it 2-2. And when you pulled the prominence combo out the first time, he KO'd it.
yeah,
Yeah, I was just like, oh no, like, oof.
yeah. I think I launched too hard on that round. I think I was not playing super well against Jay, at least from a launching perspective. My guilty use was not that good. I think I wasn't playing prominence as well as I could have. Um, I feel like I kind of got lucky. um, yeah, I was playing my combos all right, at least in picking, but in terms of actually executing on that, not so much.
Sure, which, to be fair, this was basically your first event, so...
Yeah,
Yeah, so, like, it all comes, like, launching burst is so much different than MFB, so that's to be expected. And then, obviously, Jay is good with attack. People know that.
yes,
So, like people will say, like, oh, just launch better. But, like, when you're face-to-face with somebody who is very consistent with attack, it is scary, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Because
Like I
attack
was
is
trying to play a
scary.
little risky to try and beat him,
Right.
and so of course that comes with the chance of screwing up.
Yeah, like my only loss in the event, I got 3-0'd by Jay in first stage. He was using guilty. I was using guilty as well.
Yep.
And he 3-0'd me, so that scared me. But
Yeah, his guilty was doing pretty well in the
yeah, he
in
was
the
using
mirror.
Fortress Quick Dash,
Hmm.
which was the same as what you were using.
Yeah,
Um so yeah, so you guys were like tied up until the very end. It was back and forth. It got all the way up to 4-4. Then in the very end, I think you messed up your launch
yeah,
and self KO'd yourself, which,
yep,
I feel like that always happens in your and Jay's matches.
yeah,
At least with your
yeah.
Lightning versus Jade matches, that one person always self KOs.
It's like a running joke now.
Yeah,
And it's so
yeah,
funny that it happened in burst too.
right. It is. It really is just super funny that happened in Burst. But yeah, so Cake ended up, then yeah, playing Noodle Boy for third place, and then he ended up winning. Again, shout out to Noodle Boy. He did super good. Him and his dad were just good people, and hope to see him at more events.
Yeah, stellar
Um,
performance.
yeah, yeah, and so then it was me versus Jay in the finals, and I cannot remember the last time I've actually played against Jay, like in a meaningful way, like that was like in deck, if that makes sense. Like first stage is kind of
Yeah,
you know,
I feel like especially just with me and Jay encountering each other, usually like he gets knocked out before meeting you or
yeah,
you get knocked out
exactly.
before meeting him.
So I never get to get the chance to play deck against him. So I finally got my chance to play deck, and I was scared. I did change up. Usually, I'm not one to change my deck up too much throughout like matches. I just stick with what I think is safe and what I think I can use. But knowing Jay, I was honestly tempted to use Keep Dash because I know that guy loves attack. He was running
Yeah.
Zyphoid on Extreme Dash, and Guilty on Quick Dash, and then he had Wind on Zone Dash plus Hasbro Z. So I was just like, what's gonna happen? Like, what is gonna happen? So I did end up using the Prominence Perseus. I did go with Perseus just in
Mhm.
case I used Wind, which I don't think I even did use Wind. Um, but I did Prominence Perseus, extra weight, Nexus S, free spin, Mobius with the 0 armor, just super heavy, and that was able to do pretty good. So he actually beat me in the first one. He used Wind, I used the Prominence, and everybody knows Prominence and Mobius both have terrible same spin. So I even cut that out of the video, mainly because Cake accidentally stopped filming it. But
Oh
but
yeah.
it was a waste of a video anyway. I'm happy you stopped filming that part because I just died. Like it was not even like I just died. And
Yeah,
then
not a good matchup.
yeah, so then he stuck with Wind. The only reason I went with Prominence was because Jay usually likes to start off with like Guilty. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Start strong. Get a first KO, and get the momentum in your favor. But
especially with how strong Guilty is.
yeah, but he went Stamina, and I was just like, of course, it's also right spin Stamina. So I was
Yep.
just like, okay, whatever. So I switched to. By the way, my deck was Guilty, Longinus using 4 armor, um, Fortress, Extreme Dash. Then I was using Vanish, Fafnir. Was I using Van? No, I wasn't using Vanish. What was my other one? Oh yeah, the Prominence
Didn't
combo, and then Roar Bahamut using the
yeah.
10 armor Giga Metal Drift. So obviously, I counterpicked his Wind with the Roar on Metal Drift, and I won. Because Roar and Drift are
Yeah.
just insane together. And so I was stuck in a loop where then he switched to Guilty. I switched to Guilty. He was just beating me. And then I got to the point where it was 3-3, and I was cornered, so I just went with Guilty again. And I swung the momentum into my favor, getting a lucky KO on him. And then he ended up rematching me, and I was able to KO him again and somehow win. And I think we were all a little confused because Jay, I thought I was done because I was in
Yeah.
that loop, and Jay was just outperforming me with Guilty every single time. Like I said, he 3-0'd me earlier. The first match we had in our deck match, he completely destroyed me. So I was really worried, but when in doubt, just use Guilty, right?
Yep.
So yeah, that was crazy. And for you guys who didn't know, I was using Extreme Dash on Guilty. And what sucks is Jay was using Quick Dash. So if I launch too light, Jay's just going to outspin me. If I launch too hard, I have the chance of getting self KO'd. It's just like kind of one of those things that's just like you don't want to see it. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I ended up winning poor man's chance. Um I don't know why anybody's surprised anymore, but just kidding, just kidding. But yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. I could tell Cake was having a lot of fun there. It was everything he wanted. No bursting, pick 3, choose 1.
It's a format that defense barely exists. Like, you just go ham.
Yeah, that's why attack is so good. Like KO defense is what? Prominence on Mobius? Like
Yeah.
or like moment dynamite on moment, something like that. But yeah, so that was poor man's chance. Shout out to Power. I thought the event went really well. Besides the beginning where people ended up at the wrong location.
Yeah,
Um,
that was a little shaky, but
yeah, but at once the event started, I think it worked really well and it went really smooth. With us being like the main judges and then Jay running the challenge.
yeah, and even with the late start, the kids were having a kick out of free play
Oh
anyway.
man, they were
So
just having free play. We Cake and I were talking to the parents. It was just a good time. Um, but yeah, so moving on, or did you have anything else you wanted to talk about tournament?
I think that covers it.
All right, so yeah, it was a great event. It was a really awesome event, and I have the deck finals uploaded to my channel if you guys want to check that out. Um, but yeah, so we're not the only ones who had an event this weekend. Toronto also had an event. I believe they had a Burst Standard, and I don't know who won it. It was somebody I've never heard of, but Zanky got second place. So shout out to Zanky. He messaged me before saying, I want to win. Like, I'm going to do good this event. And then he messaged me like, I did good. And I was like, let's go, dude. Um,
Yeah.
and then Metal Fight Metal Fight Limited. Shout out to Abelia getting her second win over K.
Yeah.
The number 2 ranked Metal Fight player in the world for the WBO. So yeah, that she's played 2 Metal Fight limited events and she's won both of them. So huge shout
Yeah,
out.
that's hype.
Yeah, I think one of the combos she used was she used Bandit Pegasus Wing 105 RS as like the
Yeah, that's
stationary
super
attack.
cursed.
Yeah, super cursed, but apparently it was slapping. I mean, we know Pegasus can slap.
Yeah.
And then she used her Screw Suzuno combo on CH120 Rubber Flat, which,
Hmm.
of course, I believe did very good. And then I saw her use Meteo. And then I'm trying to remember. But yeah, so she did really good. K got second. And then Dan, he was hyping up his use of Lightning El Drago, ended up taking the lame way out and used Gravity F230 GCF. But as he already said, he regrets doing that and he got punished. He got what he deserved, is what he said. I think he played for 3rd place and got 4th. All because he didn't use Lightning. So if he would have used Lightning, who knows? He might have won the whole event. But yeah, that's a message to all you guys out there. Don't use Gravity
Stick
Flame.
with the dragons.
Yeah, don't use Gravity F230. Left spin dragons are just the way to go. But yeah, so super super happy to see Metal Fight kind of thriving again, thanks to Dan and Abelia, and Zanky's getting into it as well. They already have another event. I don't know if you've seen that. Dan is,
yeah, I did see him talking about that.
Yeah, so it's now up on the WBO. I wish I could go to it, but it's just bad timing. But yeah, so I think that's what happened for tournaments. I can't remember if any other regions had. I think Shindog had HMS, which I don't really follow too much.
Yeah, I don't follow that closely either.
My video is buffering. The background video I'm playing, it's whatever. So yeah, I guess moving on a little bit back to Burst. What is the best Burst Beyblade, would you say, Cake? Like from a purely competitive standpoint.
I think it just has to be guilty on your choice of guilty Longinus on your choice of Fortress or Illegal, and then Quick Dash or Extreme Dash. Like, it kills everything.
Yeah.
There are, like, you can name on the fingers of, like, one hand the combos that can stop it. And
those can't, it's not even like a 100% stop ratio.
Yeah. And those combos don't necessarily have amazing win spreads against other combos. Like, if you're going to call any combo in any format dominant, it's going to look something like Guilty does in Burst Standard.
Yep. And I know a lot of people are talking about like Zyphoid, as a super powerful attacker. And in a world where Zyphoid never wore out and it stayed super, super pointy the whole time, Guilty would still be better just because the pure ease of use. And I know that's like a triggering thing to say for some people out there, but Guilty is just better. Zyphoid may hit harder when it hits hard, but I mean, it's harder to use. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I feel like Guilty just has better reach. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think there's something to be said for right spin attack slamming Phoenix and Dynamite harder. Prominence.
Yeah. So Zyphoid like really hurts Prominence. Like the first hit just completely chucks the armor a whole football field away, and then the rest of the Beyblade is followed behind it.
But like Guilty's good enough to just kind of get the work done anyways.
It's really like your trump card.
Certainly helps with Zyphoid being right spin against other right spin threats. But if you want Vanish or Roar to be no longer alive, well, Guilty.
Yeah, and that's one of the crazy things with Guilty is even against Vanish on Bearing Dash, half the time Guilty can still outspin it just because it hits Vanish so hard, and since Vanish is rubber, and then just the way the bearing driver works, it just loses spin.
And Guilty's monstrously heavy compared to most things.
Yeah, Guilty is heavy. It hits super hard. It pushes Beyblades. It throws. It's literally like the ideal attack type. Um, so Guilty is literally like everybody's trump card. I don't know what when I see somebody's deck and they don't have Guilty in there. Like I run 2 stamina types. You know, I have my right spin and left spin stamina, and I'll always run Guilty. I'll never run 3 stamina because Guilty is just so good. If you're running a 3 stamina deck, kind of like what Noodle Boy did against you, and
Yes.
then one of your combos just completely shuts down his whole deck, what's the point of having the third stamina type? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I always try to have one kind of KO defense that's also good at opposite spin, and then a specialized. Since I knew Jay was gonna use wind, I used roar on drift. You know, kind of newbie of me, but it worked. But Guilty, man, I'm telling you, like you
Like
should
I
always
was
have it.
looking at a 3 stamina deck, and then I was like, okay, but Guilty will pick up wins on anything. Like
Exactly.
there is not a deck that contains like either you build a deck that is 3 anti-Guilty combos and Guilty can still probably kill each of them like a good like 30 or 40% of the time, and then they also all lose to either one of the other 2 combos in my deck, or I bring Guilty versus a normal person deck and it kills 2 out of 3 of their combos. Like there is no
Exactly.
losing consideration to having Guilty in a deck.
Yeah, and then can we also just talk about how Guilty just looks so good?
Yes.
Like even without stickers, the Beyblade is just so aesthetically pleasing. It's just ridiculous. Um, but yeah, so yeah, Guilty is definitely like the best. I think that Guilty is just good at everything. Zyphoid is also really good, just not as consistent. Um, but yeah, that event was
Like
really
there's
fun. Go
there's a
ahead.
lot of hype around Wind and like, Wind being the overpowered new thing, but Wind dies to Guilty. So
Yeah, Win dies
in
to
the end,
Guilty. Yeah, Guilty beats
whatever.
everything, including the Shin TA Stadium. But that,
Oof.
that's beyond that's uh ban Guilty. Just kidding. But
Yeah, we talked about MCO. Don't use it
do
with Guilty.
not
Do not.
use Guilty. It will literally put a hole. Like it doesn't even have to touch the stadium. Just like being in its presence will poke a hole through it. Um, but yeah. So moving on, unless you had anything else you wanted to talk about.
Oh, that's it.
Okay. Um, we have my tournament coming up this weekend, which is super exciting. And
Yay.
get ready for some videos. Cake is planning to spend the night at my place Friday night before the tournament. We're gonna test some burst stuff. Knowing us, probably some MFB too.
Yep.
But we're both like kind of like I'm less new now to burst, but I know there's a lot of stuff Cake wants to practice, like test out, and
Yeah.
same. I have a lot of stuff I want to test out as well.
We still got to figure out where Wind fits into everything,
Yeah,
especially
like
after it doing outperforming our expectations at this last event.
yeah, exactly. Just I want to test Roar out a little bit more too. Mainly
Yeah.
on Drift. I just think that's the best left spin combo. Like for opposite spin, I should say. Um, but yeah, unfortunate news. Try can no longer make it to the event. I don't know if you knew about that, Cake.
I think you might have told me.
Yeah, so unfortunately adult things happened and his water heater exploded, so
Yikes.
it's more mature to replace that and and not spend money on a hotel. All been there. That's one of it's unfortunate. Um but Jay is planning to do spooky series in October. So hopefully Trey can come to that. It will be a 2-day event in Carmel. Which I'll definitely be down there. I always try to make it to their Halloween event for the weekend. And then, but yeah, this weekend we have Metal Fight Limited and Burst Standard in Caledonia, basically just Grand Rapids, Michigan. Super excited for it. I really
Hmm.
hope we have a good showing. Um,
Yeah, the sign up numbers look good.
yeah, I need to remove Try and his fiance from it, and then Joe Kip can no longer come too because
That's a shame.
his homecoming fell on it. Um, So I don't know if Ross is coming anymore either. So that is like 4 people gone. Unfortunately, Serena will probably play. But I know Jay and Power are coming. True Troopers, because I don't know if you knew about this, Cake, but after we left shoot, where did we eat at? Portello's?
Yeah.
After we left Portello's, when I got home, Jay texted me at like 10:30 p.m. saying, "Hey, by the way, Power's car broke down." So they were stranded. They were stranded until 11 when a mechanic came, and they couldn't even fix the car. They had to take the car, so they had to stay at a hotel that night. I don't.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, and then Magic Horse came from Cincinnati and picked them up so they could go to the Team Palooza event that Jay was
Yeah,
hosting.
I heard you. I heard that Magic Horse saved the day, but I didn't hear the rest of the context around that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's like I was just like, what the heck? Like that's ridiculous. I felt really bad for Power, especially since he put up
Yeah.
money for the tournament. Um,
Yeah.
but I think everything is working good. Hopefully they can make it to the event. I really hope they can. Because this will be Polo's first event back in literally a year. Can you believe that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Polo's last event was actually Spooky Series.
Huh.
So we're getting right back up to that time, and I haven't kept up with Polo too much about what if he's been playing. I'm not sure how big he is on burst. He hasn't really gotten any more burst stuff. I know he's still Metal Fight Limited is his preferred format, but yeah, I think that's everything for my event. And then, are you planning on going to the Chicago event?
It's still up in the air. I think I will.
That I haven't decided quite yet. I'd really like to. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes away, so it's a little bit farther than I thought.
Uh,
And it's like, I guess I'll see how many people are signed up before next weekend. And
yeah, for me it's only an hour 40, so it's not that bad.
so it's not
for me.
terrible. Which it will be good for you to get more burst stuff in.
Yeah.
But that will be a third tournament in a row for you for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be very, very, very busy.
Yeah. So who knows? We might. I might go to that. And then I think that's as far as tournaments go. That's all I have. That's all I have right now. But have you seen those new sets that are coming out?
The Super King stuff, or is there something newer than that?
No, it's not Super King. The new DB stuff or BU stuff. Like there's that stadium set, and then there's that customized set that has like bearing drift in it.
Yeah, I saw people going mental about bearing drift for obvious reasons.
Yeah, like
But
I know Zanky's metal bearing drift got outspun by a normal bearing dash at the tournament. In same spin, so that's kind of weird, But yeah. Oh yeah. Speaking of bearing dash, shout out to Sugon. I feel bad. This was his first event. The South Bend Poor Man's Chance, and turns out I like he was a fan of mine, so he got to see a lot of the MFB stuff that I brought. But unfortunately, I knocked him out of the finals. If he would have beat me, he would have been in my place instead of me. So I felt bad. But he did super good. Coming all the way from St. Louis, Missouri, as well. But he's the real winner because he won Bajan Bricks raffle for the metal bearing drift.
Yes. Yeah.
So who's the real winner? He can sell that and buy a whole bunch of MFB stuff. But yeah. So
when I
go ahead.
About the new releases, when I said Super King, I wasn't meaning sparking. I was meaning the new customized set that has the bearing drift in it. The wheels in there are Super and King. Or
wait, really?
Yes, the frames or blades. Man, there's so many words. Okay, so the blades are Super and King, and they each come in 2 separate pieces, which then can be recombined with each other in any There's a rubber half and a metal half on each, and then you can mix and match them. It's almost like synchromes, where you have 2 different halves that you can match and then create. There's 10 different combinations that you can make of those blades. And so you can have 2 rubber halves so you can have both halves of So if you buy two of the sets, you can have double Rubber King, you can have double Metal King, you can have Metal and Rubber King, uh,
Jeez.
or and then you can also have one of each rubber. You can have one of each metal. You could have double metal super, double rubber super, rubber metal super. So there's a million combinations with this thing. I don't know if any of them will be any good, but it's a wild gimmick, and I'm all about wild gimmicks.
Yeah, so are you pre-ordering one of those, or are you just gonna wait until it comes out?
I'm gonna wait and see what other people think of it. It doesn't seem like it's going to be particularly special. I think maybe the metal versions will be really good.
Yeah,
Um,
that
it
was
doesn't
like
look stellar for like because coming hot off the heels of Wind, like is this gonna really outclass Wind
so
for
so I
stamina?
feel like what that reminds me of is El Drago Guardian coming out,
Yeah,
and then like Dragoon gets released.
yeah. Like the designs look a little too aggressive to be like incredible for stamina. I could be totally wrong,
That's what I was thinking too. Actually, was that the
but
designs didn't look competitively viable. Um,
oh, what is worth noting, they are also all dual spin without being. They don't flip to dual spin. They just are dual spin.
ooh, nice.
Um. So again, they have rubber, so you could theoretically, use them in opposite spin. But we already have vanish and we already have roar. You could use them in same spin and use the metal ones. But we already have dynamite plus F plus L plus ratio. But but and then we already have wind. So
Exactly.
uh, I'm not I'm not so confident that they're going to be great that I'm willing to buy one just off pure speculation.
Yeah, I
Um,
was going to pre-order one just because they're usually a little bit cheaper when you pre-order opposed to
true.
after it's out. My issue was for the price. I was only interested in bearing drift, and at that point I didn't even know, or yeah, it's bearing drift. Um
Yeah,
I'm just super disappointed that the weight discs are Giga and Nexus. Like why are they so lame?
yeah,
Like oh, like oh, that was like the thing when I looked at it. It made me not want to buy the set. Because the blades or whatever, half the time you don't buy the customized set for the blades. You know what I mean? Unless you're one of those
don't you
wild
want
child.
another tapered?
Gosh. You mean that disc that was on the brink of extinction competitively, and then Wind
Yeah, we
came out and
just
that was
talked
the
about how it's
final
not good
nail?
anymore.
Yeah. Like, oh gosh, like that was a huge letdown because when I buy a customized set, I usually generally what I look for are cool new drivers that are generally pretty cool. The cores. So like in the Zest Achilles set,
Uh-huh.
we got Achilles, we got Illegal, we got a Fortress, we got Quattro Dash. Um, pretty decent stuff. But you never really use the blades. Like the blades for these sets usually I feel like don't get used unless you're one of those weird people who use Astral. It's the same for the Astral Spriggan set. Did any like Cyclone? I don't know why people love Cyclone so much. I don't think anybody really loves Cyclone. But otherwise, Metal Extreme, man, that set actually kind of sucked. Um now that I think about it. Uh but yeah, like I'm just really disappointed that they couldn't even do cool weight discs. Like why
Yeah,
not
and
give
like
us a legal?
or like something that Zanky was talking about earlier. Why are there only two BU lock compatible discs out? Like, why couldn't they have even if they didn't put them onto the King and suit or the Helios and Hyperion cores? Like, they could have released more disc options
Yeah,
than
exactly.
just
And
Xanthus and yeah, Moon.
yeah, and the thing is like the burst law, or what are they called?
I don't remember what the gimmick is
It's the
called.
BU lock, right?
Yeah,
The two discs that they're on are like garbage.
Yeah,
Like I know that Think likes it on Xiphoid on his Xiphoid thing. I don't know. I don't even know what that is. Um,
it's funny.
yeah, it is funny. It is. Um, but like
Like
otherwise,
it,
Moon
it
is
works,
terrible.
but it works, but it's held back by the disc rather than improved by it.
Yeah, like if that's all you can do, it's like whatever. But oh my gosh, like why? Like BU locks don't even mean anything to me, to be honest, because like the discs are just are useless.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I was saying to Zanky, like the gimmick just sucks except for the funny crit Excalibur junk. Like that's it.
that's so funny, and I know people are gonna seriously be testing that. What wasn't it? Zank, you said he was gonna go test that.
Yeah, he's got
Like,
videos up now.
gosh, that's hilarious. That's great though. Like, I gotta love the Beyblade community. Shout out Think,
Yeah,
classic Stevie by Think. Shout out.
yeah, he was responsible for that prominence combo that we used. Like,
No, I'm pretty sure Shindog was
oh, was that
because
Shindog?
Shindog
Okay,
got it from, or he Think got it from Shindog. I want to
okay.
say, um, because
Sorry,
Think is the
Shindog.
one who told me about it, but he told me he got it from Shindog. Um,
Okay,
and I know Think also uses Dragon. He likes Bound on it, but at the time I thought I was gonna be using Wind, but then last minute I used Roar. So then I could have used Dragon on it, but I'm happy with Perseus. Gave it a little more weight.
hmm
And it was, Prominence is so terrible at same spin anyway that like the
yeah,
weight didn't matter. But yeah, like I don't know the stadium set I'm definitely passing on. I kind of want to wait to see if Bays and Bricks or Beyblade Premiere or something will just have that bearing drift for sale for like $15 or whatever.
yeah,
I'd much rather just buy that. Um but I am what did you say the cores were? Hyperion and
yeah. Hyperion and Helios.
have you heard anything about those? Like are they supposed to be
I've
good?
not. I haven't heard anything about them. No.
I feel like it's just going to be like, oh well, it's okay at right spin, it's okay at left spin. It's just gonna be another one at like a night chip, like, oh well,
Yeah,
it's not quite as good as Dragon, but it works. Like,
I did hear. I think they do have the BU locks integrated into them, but they don't come with the discs. So who cares? Like,
yeah, I don't know. I can tell that Burst is ending. Like this is
yeah,
like they're just giving up, but still, like this set did not impress me. Like you like even this random booster, I wasn't excited for it, dude. Like when the random
uh,
booster volume 27 came out, I was ecstatic because I was just like, holy crap, we get Black
yeah,
Guilty, we get Red Vanish, which rest in peace, being a gram lighter. Um we get a whole bunch of good stuff. And then with this one, I guess it's not as bad as the Chain Kirbyus random boost. The random boosters have been kind of terrible lately. I guess this one was okay.
yeah,
It has two winds. It has Xiphoid. It has Devil. The purple Devil does
yeah.
look really nice. Do you have the purple Devil?
I do not.
I kind of want to get it because I feel.
Yeah,
Dang it! Why do all the good match? I was thinking it was gonna look really good with my Bahamut core, but it's right spin, so it doesn't even matter. But yeah, I think Burst is supposed to end in 2023, right? Or this year? Is this the last
yeah.
year? Or is it
Uh,
ending next year?
I think it ends spring 23. Don't
Okay.
quote me on that.
Because I've
But
heard rumors that the new system is fall of 23. Um,
yeah,
which, it kind of makes me just want to buy up a whole bunch of stuff for Burst Standard and then move on to the next system.
yeah, that's about where I'm at.
Yeah, have enough to where we can have fun with Burst while it's still here. Because, we all know that the Burst stadiums are going to last longer than everything else.
Yeah,
Besides the Shintie shout out. But, yeah, like, Burst has been really fun. I'm very excited for this tournament. I'm super excited to get testing. I took a poll on my channel if people wanted to see any burst content, and it looks like 70% want to. So I guess we can have some video. It will be a lot better to make burst testing videos with two people. Um, so I'd like to test Wind out some more, even though like we've seen how good it was. But maybe you and I can test the Kirbyus core versus the Dragon core because I know Henwuja was saying that he cannot get his Dragon core to balance right.
yeah, I saw that.
But I tested it. I did 3 battles, and Dragon won twice and Kirbyus won once, and then I was like, what am I doing? And I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
So I'll let Zanky do the test videos and all that stuff. But yeah, I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about. Did you have anything else on your mind?
I think we covered everything.
Yeah, I think we covered everything. And then, yeah, so that has been everything. I hope you guys enjoyed. Get ready for a whole bunch of tournament footage and testing videos from Cake and I this next weekend. And we will catch you guys later.